Have you ever felt like you're about to give it all up? You've put all your heart, your soul, your energy into this thing that you love, and you feel like you just can't do it anymore? We're going to talk about it on today's podcast.
Hi, my name is Michael Johnson. I'm a ballroom dance professional, a life coach, and a peak performance expert. I'm part of a group of motivated people who are dedicated to attaining emotional mastery and unlocking our full potential. We don't believe others are responsible for how we feel. In fact, we don't believe anyone can make us feel anything. We believe in the magic of ballroom dance. It has taught us how to improve our bodies, challenge our minds, and inspire our souls. And in return, I want to share those lessons with the world. We are lifers, and this is Majic for Life.
What's up, lifers? Michael Johnson here with the Magic for Life podcast. I'm so glad you joined me today. We are going to talk today a little bit about that moment when you feel like you're going to give up, like you're going to just walk away from the thing that you love, your personal legend. And so I thought I'd bring out a quick piece from one of my favorite books, The Alchemist. Those of you that have followed the podcast know I love this book. If you haven't read it, it's a great quick read and a fun story that could easily change your life. And I know it has mine, and I know it has many other people. Just a simple book, simple story with a lot of really great insight. So I'd like to read you just a little piece of this book. It's on page 23. If any of you ever want to go and look it up, you can go check it out. But I'm going to read this little piece. If you don't know the book, that's okay. Just hang on. The piece is pretty self-explanatory, but when you do get the context of the book, at some point it'll make a lot of sense. So it starts off with a quote from the shepherd boy, and he says, "Why would a king be talking with the shepherd?" the boy asked, awed and embarrassed. "For several reasons, but let's say that the most important is that you have succeeded in discovering your personal legend." The boy didn't know what a personal legend was. It's what you have always wanted to accomplish. Everyone, when they are young, knows what their personal legend is. At that point in their lives, everything is clear and everything is possible. They're not afraid to dream and to yearn for everything they would like to see happen in their lives. But as time passes, a mysterious force begins to convince them that it will be impossible for them to realize their personal legend. Now, a little later on, just a few paragraphs away, the boy interrupts the old man, the king, and says, "Why are you telling me all this?" And the king replies, "Because you're trying to realize your personal legend, and you're at the point where you're about to give it all up." And that's kind of what we wanted to talk about today in this podcast. If you felt like you're about to give it all up, if you felt like you've put enough time and energy into that thing that you love, that thing that you do, and you're about to give it all up, you've got to kind of ask yourself, what are the omens? What are the signs? The alchemist calls it the omens. What are the signs in your world that it's time to dig in and keep going? You know, I understand that there are appropriate times to walk away and to move on to something else. But sometimes, when it's time for you to just double down, put your extra effort in, there's some great signs around you that let you know it's time to just keep going. It's time to keep going. It's time to energize yourself and find a way to put the energy back into what it is you're doing. I love this little piece of the book. It's the early on in The Alchemist, and it really is this moment where the shepherd boy is having to decide what it is that he really wants, and if he's going to go after this thing that he wants, this dream that he has. And so as you listen to me here, I want you to think about what things in your world are your things, the thing that you do, the thing that is most important to you. For some of my listeners, you're dancers, others business people, athletes. I understand you all have your thing, maybe artists, some musicians, actors. You all have your thing, and I get it. But I know that at any given point, There's that time, there's that moment where you're thinking, gosh, I'm going to put this down and I'm going to walk away from it all. And so I want you to think about it. Are you there right now, or have you been there? A lot of people call it burnout. I know for me, I've gone through a few times where I've completely burned out on what it was that I loved. And I was ready to walk away, ready to do something different. And somehow, everything just pulled right back together again, and I just kept hanging on for a little bit longer to realize that personal legend, that personal calling that you are here for. And I don't know what it is, and some people during my time would have said, oh, well, dance is not your personal calling. That is not your personal legend. Stop doing that. Get a real job. Oh my goodness. Those of you out there that are artists have potentially heard this before. Get a real job. You know what? It's okay. I know my work, and I know that my time dancing was important to change some people's lives. And I was lucky enough to earn some money from it so that I could live at the style I had grown accustomed to living. And that's great. So what is your thing? And if you're on the verge of walking away from it, hang on. Now, that's not to say that when it's time to move on, when it's time to walk away and make a new decision, that you shouldn't be able to do that. But if this is your thing, if it's your personal legend, if this is how you're going to change the world, then you got to sit back and re-energize. You've got to find a way to gain some energy to go back at what it is that you do and hit it strong. And that's where some of the other tools that hopefully you've learned along the way on this podcast will help you. Little things like just going and re-energizing. Is there a book that is outside of your genre or your thing that could re-energize you? Is there some music that could motivate you? Is there a hike that you can go on, that you can go out, reconnect with nature and get the energy of the world to flow back through you so that you can go and hit it strong and do your thing, because you might be the one that's going to change the world. You might have that next brilliant idea, or you might have that next performance that stops people in their tracks and changes everything. And remember, it only takes one. You only have to change one other person's life. And if they do one, well, it'll continue to domino. It's really profound, the amount of actual change that you can have on this world if you'll do your thing with passion and with love and chase your personal legend. So if you felt like giving up, if that's where you're at right now, just take a step back, take a deep breath, figure out how you can get your body active, how you can rest, how you can get motivated through some great music, some motivational videos, some of the music that has inspired you in the past. What is it that inspired you about your thing? Go find that initial video you saw. Go look up the person that inspired you the first time, or just simply remember. Go back in your mind and remember a time when you felt so inspired to be able to move forward with your thing. And remember it. Remember the details about it. Remember how it felt to be in that moment, and relive that experience, because that will give you energy to move forward with your thing, your personal legend. So I encourage you today to find that motivation. Step back. If you need to rest, rest. Sometimes it's one step back and two steps forward, right? So go find your energy. Go find your thing again and dig in and get to work. You've got the world to change. Maybe that sounds too epic. Maybe it sounds too huge, but just start. Just start moving forward. For those of you that don't feel like you're about to quit, it's okay. Don't get to that point. Every day, find something that motivates you about your thing. That way you don't have to get to that point where you're about to give up on your personal legend. Because it is rough. And those people that are in that moment, and if you've been there before, you know it's rough. It's rough to be able to keep moving forward, to be able to keep making that decision to do it again. So don't get there. Get your motivation set up. Get your videos saved in a playlist. Get your music that inspires you saved to the right place. And for goodness sakes, start to master your emotions so that you can be in control of how you think and how you feel. No one can make you feel anything. All right, guys. Well, that's all for today's podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today. And as we move forward, make sure you pass on and share the podcast with other people. If you are so inclined and you're loving the podcast, please take a snapshot or a picture and share it on social media and let people know. I'd love to get out there and keep letting people know that there's a great resource here to help them. So if you know anybody that could use this episode, please share it with them, pass it on, send them the link in an email. But also let me know. Send us an email, send us some type of review on iTunes, and let us know that you're loving what we're producing. It helps us know to keep making more. So as usual, I appreciate you guys. I hope you're doing well out there. Keep chasing your personal legends and keep up the process of being great lifers. And we'll see you on the next podcast. Take care. Want more Magic for Life? If so, then reserve your copy of my new book. Get your copy at everyminutebook.com. Inside this book, you'll find the secrets to attaining the next level of performance in anything you do. Learn the secrets behind emotional mastery that'll start you on your new journey of being a lifer. Whether you're an athlete, a business professional, or an artist, this book will change your life forever. Get your copy reserved today.